This poem is called The Octopus. The octopus blows out black air when the sharks hunt, while the fear erases its bright colors. I think fire hits your belly when the rejection reappears and the puzzle pieces form yet another devastating image. The water in your body kills the fire, but you still walk around with smoke lingering all over your body. It is no wonder you wake up with an air of ash to you. You ought to clear it out, breathe it out, blow it all away. Breathe, blow, breathe, blow, and watch as your bright colors reveal themselves to you. My name is Mpumi. I am from Johannesburg. I am a poet and an events curator. I am currently working on my debut poetry collection, which I am hoping to get published at the end of 2021.
Hi, my name is Upile Chisala, and I am a storyteller from Malawi, based in Johannesburg. I am also a researcher and a graduate of Oxford University. My interests are in sharing poems that have to do with Black womanhood and really creating a platform to celebrate Blackness and Black womanhood in its entirety. I find just creating spaces for stories to exist in their entirety exciting. That's who I am.
Some of the challenges that I've been facing is finding a publisher. And then when I do find a good publisher, I would like to still keep ownership of my work. Because when I do research, I find that you either self-publish and keep everything, or get a publisher and then get next to nothing.
Find yourself a literary agent. There are people who are dedicated and who genuinely love you and think about your voice. You submit your work to them once you've agreed on something, and auction off your work to publishers. And I think that is the best thing to do. I wouldn't encourage someone to go off with a publisher, because with a publisher, the work is in, and the next time they're looking for something different. So you have to submit your work to them before you go to any other publishing houses, but they can easily reject you. You can easily not be what they're looking for anymore. And they don't have any type of responsibility to continue working with you. Whilst your literary agents, they make money when you make money. So they were happy to continue helping you out. I was self-published at first, and yes, the benefit is that you own your work, but you also own the responsibility of getting your work to different places. And that is the job of a publisher. Like, you have to become a publishing house yourself. Self-publishing is something that you have to dedicate your whole life to. Strongly not recommend self-publishing. Yes, you don't get to own your work. Working with a publishing house, it's not all daisies. It's not all roses and butterflies and beautiful, because you find when you do have a publishing house that when you're no longer a trend or you're no longer excited, they can just easily stop showing interest in you, and they still own your work, and they're still responsible for getting your work marketed and to getting your work into different places. And maybe they kind of lose track of you and lose interest in you. So it comes with its benefits. You have to balance it out.
The challenges that I've been facing during the course of writing the book is not having enough time. I still have a 9 to 5. So I write my work during the wee hours of the morning. So during like 3 a.m. up until 6 to 7 a.m. But I do feel that I don't have the time to perfect my product in the way that I would like to, because it's kind of like a stolen pleasure, and I can feel its own appetite. It wants to be a full-time thing because writing a book is consuming.
You are much more dedicated than I am to wake up that early and write for as long as you write anyway. So I feel like you're on the right track. So making time in your schedule to write is the best thing. I have no idea how else to help you on this point, because it seems like you are really putting your all into it. What I would say though is, when you reach a point where you want to edit it, or before you've fully found out which publisher you want to go with, maybe you should dedicate like a week or so, take a week off of work, go somewhere, sit down and fully work on your work by yourself, or with a friend who you trust or something like that. That is the only thing that I would really give you.
Another challenge has been broadening my readership without compromising the work that is in the book, to ensure that when people do buy the book, there is still value in the book. They know who I am, and they're also very excited and anxious about the work that's in the book.
I don't think you have to compromise the integrity of your work just to garner a bigger audience. You have to stay true to your work and manipulate it in any way to fit with, okay, maybe young adults poetry is what's in right now, or this kind of poetry is what's in right now. There will be an audience for you. I always say that there's someone for everyone, and I also think the same for us as poets and storytellers, that there is an audience for us. And voices like yours do not need to be shrunk in order to fit into spaces. Broadening your audience or just garnering a bigger audience. For me, what had helped is using social media, using Instagram, using Twitter, just engaging with people more, finding new visually exciting ways to share my work. And I know you may write longer poems. I write very Instagrammable, captionable kind of work. But there's always ways to take excerpts from that work and make it appeal to other people. Everybody is sharing stuff on Instagram. And so, yeah, there's definitely an audience there. That's definitely a way to get your work more known by other people. For me, I think that COVID has changed that dynamics in the poetry world entirely. Even right now, adult poetry is kind of a very saturated environment, to be quite honest with you, with a lot of Instagram poets, with a lot of people who are just transitioning from sharing their work online to sharing it in the book. So I understand how international communities are a bit saturated, but within the local environment here in South Africa, there are a lot of poetry places, a lot of places that are championing poetry. For example, Hear My Voice is a local group that is very intentional about supporting poets, supporting writers, supporting storytellers. That's definitely a resource you should look into. It will give you a more of experience with performing on stage, give you more experience with audiences, give you more experience with, and that's something that you should probably look into. But also when you're trying to promote your book, I would suggest you look into the Cheeky Natives. So the Cheeky Natives are really, really good at bringing together a community to support writers. So they will be one of the first homes for your work. Another thing I would like you to look into is the Center for the Less Good Idea, and they are in the moment looking for poetry moments. So they are always excited to work with different kinds of artists. So there is quite a few things that are happening locally. And while resources and the stage is saturated abroad, maybe we should look at home. Think about what artistic or aesthetically pleasing ways to share your work and go for it.